I'm the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So today, I figured why not let two groups that are kind of known for psykers to just really have a good time and fight it out. So the Thousand Suns and the Eldar are gonna have a good old smash 'em up in the lone terrain, the Sector Imperialis Factorum stuff that I got from Bleak Rides. So I broke down and got a Imperial Guard combat patrol. So that'll be coming in the future. And because I play Chaos Space Marines, probably am going to paint them up like Cadians, because that's just super hysterical to me. This is our little board for the day. Kind of factory stuff on the side with a ruined kind of building in the middle with some hastily erected, I don't know, barricades in there with the boxes. No real goal this time, just see who can kill the other one first. Alright, so the eldar, the second grouping that I think of when I think of psykers is eldar. These guys have 4 so far. If I stop buying new factions, maybe I'll start buying new stuff for the guys I already have. I don't know. Either way, I got this nice grouping of eldar here. Got a Farseer, who knows Executioner and Fortune. We have a pair of Warlocks. They are not a conclave, there's just 2 really good friends. One knows Enhance, one knows Protect. We also have the Spirit Seer over here, who knows Jinx. Then we have 10 Guardian Defenders with a Shuriken Cannon heavy support platform thingy. 2 groups of 5 Diver Avengers. So yeah, I broke one of my Windriders and I just haven't gotten around to fixing it yet, so instead of having the proxy Drukhari Reaver, I'm just going to run these guys as a group of 5 Windriders today. We'll see how they do. Hopefully they'll do better. We got 5 Wraithblades with the, I think those are Ghost Swords. Yeah, we got the Wraith Knight. Got the Shuriken Cannon, the Sun Cannon, the Star Cannon, and the Heavy Wraith Cannon. He'll probably die quick. And then his little buddy, the Wraith Lord, has a Bright Lance, the Eldari Missile Launcher, and a Ghost Glaive. And that's what we got for Eldar today. Alright, so these are the guys that I think of when I think of Psykers. Thousand Suns, every time. There's 6 Psykers in this grouping, the most out of any of the factions I have, and it's a lot. Necrons don't have Psykers of any kind. I mean, Catan have their powers like Catan, but it's not quite the same. It happens at the end of movement. They can't deny Psykers. So as a Necron player, I never really had to worry about it. And then I got into Space Marines, the Chaos kind, and oh wow, they have Psykers, and kind of get into that. And then 10th edition came around, so yeah, here we are. Thousand Suns. Alright, so we have the Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. He knows Prescience and Weaver of Fates. We got the regular Exalted Sorcerer, just walking around on his own 2 feet. He also knows Weaver of Fates and Diabolic Strength. And then the one floating around on the green smoke. I like to think sometimes that they like ate Slimer or something, or forced them to be their transport. He knows Warp Time and Glamour of Tzeentch. And then we have 3 10-man units of Zangors. The 2 in the back, for the most part, all have auto pistol and chainsword. The one in the middle, the Twist Bray, has Zangor blades. These guys all have Zangor blades. We got a 10-man group of Rubric Marines. The Aspiring Sorcerer knows Tzeentch's Firestorm. And then we have 4 rubrics with the Infernal Bolt Gun, 4 with the Flamer, and then 1 with the Soul Reaper Cannon. And then 2 squads of Scarab Occult Terminators. Both of the sorcerers here. No Doombolt. This one has the Hellfire Missile Launchers and the Soul Reaper Cannon. This one has the Hellfire Missiles and the Heavy Warp Flamer. And then the Thousand Suns Rhino, which will be carrying the Rubric Marines. These guys will be in the Teleportarium, so Zangors and these Exalted Sorcerers at the start. Alright, so yeah, 10 psykers on the board. This is going to be a really, really good time. I guess in the last like 20 or 30 videos I started rolling on psyker phases. This one's going to get a decent workout today. So roll deployment, set this up, and we're going to play an interesting game. Alright, the eldar won deployment, and they chose this side. So the Friends but not a Conclave, Warlocks there on the far end, Dire Avengers, the group of Wind Riders, Farseer up front, with the Guardian Defenders behind him, the other Dire Avengers at the base of the ruined building, and then the Wraith-related forces over here, the Wraith Knight and Wraith Lord in the back, Spirit Seer up on the building, and the Wraith Blades kind of up front there through the crack. Alright, so that puts the Thousand Suns on this side of the table. Got the Rhino with the rubrics in it on the far end there. Sorcerer in front there. Zangors, another Exalted Sorcerer, more Zangors, yet another Exalted Sorcerer. And then, yeah, Terminators in the back there in their Teleportarium. These guys did not steal, so eldar got to go first. So, movement. So, everybody except for the Wind Riders and the Wraith Knight advanced forward. Most everybody advancing into this ruined building here. Hopefully with a chance of maybe defending it. We'll see how that goes. So I just did a lot of measuring, and there's really no point in doing any other psychic powers. It's not going to help anybody. And nobody's within range for smiting, so we'll go to the Eldar shooting phase. Okay. It took every one of the Wraith Knight's attacks. But he did manage to kill off the Exalted Sorcerer that was over there because it was just a hair closer, like an inch, closer to the Wraith Knight than the Zangors were. That was my fault. The Wind Riders here managed to kill off 6 of these Zangors here. Nobody's close enough for charging. One of these guys ran away during the morale phase, which sucks. But that'll make it the Thousand Suns' turn. Movement. Alright, so all the Thousand Suns and the Zangars advanced forward as far as they could. In the case of these guys, that wasn't very far. These guys got kind of far. That other sorcerer is staying behind the Zangars so that hopefully we don't repeat last time. So since everybody advanced, there's really nothing beneficial I can cast, so we're just going to try and do some smites. Unfortunately, everybody who's within range to do smite is also within range of somebody who can attempt to deny, so I guess we'll see how it goes. So this Exalted Sorcerer is going to try and manifest smite on these Wind Riders, and the Farseer is going to try and deny it, if it goes off. Which is totally crap, of course. That's not a successful smite. So This Exalted Sorcerer is going to try and cast Smite on these Wraith Blades. The Spirit Seer over there is too far away. Gets it on a 10. That's a dead Wraith Blade, so there's that at least. So it would be a shooting phase, but everybody that could shoot charged or advanced, so they can't actually shoot. Everybody advanced, so they can't actually charge, I don't think. I gotta look at something. So yeah. That's pretty much the end of their turn. I say pretty much, that is the end of their turn. That'll make it the eldar turn for movement. Alright, so on the left side here, the Wraith Lord, Wraith Blades, Wraith Knight, and Spirit Seer have all moved up. Dire Avengers and the Farseer got up into the building here. Guardian Defenders have moved into the front. Wind Riders are just going to hang out. Both Warlocks made it up onto the, I don't know, second floor of this building. And then these Dire Avengers advanced around the building here to, I don't know, hold off the Rhino maybe. Alright, the Psyker phase. So the Farseer, who is hanging out up here on this top thing, is going to try and manifest Executioner on this group of Zangors. He needs a 7 for that. Nope, she rolled a 3. That's not a 7, so no need to worry about that. So he's going to try and manifest Fortune onto these Wraith Blades over here. He needs a 7 for that too. Gets that with a 9. A 9. And the Exalted Sorcerer here is going to try and deny that. Alright, he failed to deny that with a 4. So now the Warp Blades, yeah, they get the 5-up, feel no pain. If they fail to save and whatnot, which they probably will because they'll be charging soon. So the Warlocks, so we're going to try and do Protect also onto the Wraith Blades. Goes off on a 7. Fails to get it on a 5. I think that's really all they can do right at the moment. So that'll take us into the eldar shooting phase. Alright, so the Wraith Knight killed 7 of the Zangors. And the Wind Riders killed off the 3 remaining Zangors that were here. So for charges, give me these Wraith Blades into these Zangors. The Wraith Blades definitely made their charge. They killed 7 of the Zangors, didn't take any damage at all in return. These Zangors that lost 7 of their grouping, they ran. That was a long sigh of suffering. Alright, so yeah, that makes it the Thousand Suns turn. Hopefully something awesome will happen here this turn. So, movement. Alright, so this Exalted Sorcerer has kind of scooted over a little bit. This one moved up to get closer to the Wraith Blades. The Rhino, it's kind of an agonizing decision, but I decided not to dump the rubrics out this time and give the Rhino a chance to run these guys over. So the Heavy Warp Flamer Terminator Squad dropped in over here. Then the Soul Reaper Cannon Terminator Squad dropped in over here. Hopefully these guys will be able to attack these guys from behind and do some decent damage. So the Psyker phase. Alright, so this Exalted Sorcerer is going to try and manifest Glamour of Zinch on the Zangors. That goes off on a 7. Gets with a 9. Farseer is going to try and deny that. Fails that with a 4, so the Zangors are now -1 to hit. There's nobody around for him to do his psyker power, so he's just going to try and smite the Wind Raiders. He gets it with an 8. Farseer is going to try and deny that, which he does with a 9. That was impressive, actually. Alright, so then the Scarab Cult Terminators here try and manifest Doombolt on these Dire Avengers. That goes off on a 9. That's not a 9. Alright, so those guys are going to try and manifest Doombolt on these Guardian Defenders. Goes off on a 9. Doesn't get it with a 6. Alright. So, long psyker phase. Farseer actually managed to deny something. Good times. So we'll do a shooting phase. Alright, so these 5 Terminators managed to kill off 5 of the Guardian Defenders there. These 5 Terminators, with the help of the Rhino, managed to kill off the entire squad of Dire Avengers. So, charges. This Exalted Sorcerer is going to charge into the Wind Raiders. Probably die. That Exalted Sorcerer is going to charge into the Wraithblades, who are already in combat with the Zangors. So yeah, this should be fun. So it was a sad day for this guy. He didn't make his charge and he suffered damage in Overwatch. So this Exalted Sorcerer made it in. Didn't do any damage at all to the Wraithblades. They killed off all the Zangors. Alright, so that'll make it the Eldar turn. Movement. Alright, so the Wraith Lord, Spirit Seer, and Wraith Knight have all moved back towards the backside here, towards the Terminators. The Guardian Defenders have come out towards the backside, also towards the Terminators. The Warlocks just turned around in place, and everyone else is just going to hang out where they are. Psyker phase. I say it with a smile on my face, too. Alright, so one of these Warlocks is going to cast Enhance on the Wraithblades. Goes off on a 7. Gets it on a 7. So the Exalted Sorcerer out there is going to try and deny that. Does manage to deny it on an 11. Alright. Okay, so the other Warlock is going to try and manifest Protect on the Guardian Defenders here. That goes off on a 7. Gets it on an 8. So these guys are plus 1 of their saving throws. And the Farseer. I guess we're just going to smite the Exalted Sorcerer. Goes off on a 5. Gets it on a 5. D3 damage. That's enough to kill the Exalted Sorcerer. Yeah, so that'll make it the Eldar turn for shooting. So the Wraith Knight blew up the Rhino. One of the Rubiks was killed getting out of it. And then the Wraith Knight went ahead and killed 5 more of the Rubiks. The Wind Raiders actually managed to kill off 1.5 of these Terminators. So that was weird. Alright, so charge phase. The Wraith Lord is absolutely going to charge into these Terminators here. The Wraithblades are still in combat with this Exalted Sorcerer. And I think that's all the charging that's going to occur. Alright, the Wraithlord made his charge, killed 3 of the Terminators, suffered no damage. The Wraithblades killed off the Exalted Sorcerer. And that'll make it the Thousand Suns' turn. Yeah. I'm looking around trying to find who's left here, and it's just the 2 Terminator squads and these rubrics. So yeah, movement. Alright, so those Terminators are going to stay in combat. These rubrics just moved up as far as they could, as did these Terminators. So for the Psychic phase, that Aspiring Sorcerer is going to try and manifest Doombolt into the Wraithlord. Goes off on a 9. Actually rolled an 11. Spirit Seer is going to try and deny that. Rolled a 10, which came close but didn't do it, so D3 damage and movement is halved. So Wraithlord takes 2 damage. So this one is also going to do Doombolt into the Guardian Defenders. Goes off on a 9. Well, it goes off and he perils. That's probably not the best thing for him. So no one's going to be able to counter that, so 1 Guardian Defender dies. And this one's going to try and manifest Tzeentch's Firestorm. It goes off, it'll go off on the Wind Raiders. Also goes off on a 7. Gets it on a 7. So the closest Warlock will try. Denies it with an 8. This is the kind of psyker stuff I was hoping to see. Alright, so shooting phase for these guys. Alright, so these Rubric Marines definitely holding on. Managed to kill off all of the Guardian Defenders. And then these Terminators killed off 2 of the Wind Riders. These guys are trying. So for the charge phase, the Rubrics are going to try and charge into the Wind Riders. And these guys are already in combat with the Wraithlord. Alright, so the Rubrics made the charge. They lost 2 guys in Overwatch. And then they just kind of slapped each other. Nobody did anything to anyone. That was not true over here, though. The Terminators tried valiantly, but they did not succeed in doing any damage to the Wraithlord. And the Wraithlord just killed him. Just dead. So yeah, that'll make it the Eldar turn. For movement. Alright, so the Wind Riders have fallen back away from the Rubric Marines. The Wraithlord, Spirit Seer, and the Wraith Knight have all moved up a little bit closer. And everyone else just stayed where they were. So for the Psyker phase, well, there's 4 Eldar all within range of these rubrics, so I guess they're all going to do Smite. So the Spirit Seer gets it on a 6. This guy going to try and deny it, which he does. So then the Farseer is also going to try and smite these guys. Gets it on a 7. Nobody's within range to do anything about it. It does 3 damage, which kills off these 2. Puts this guy down to 1. So then this first Warlock can try and smite him. Doesn't get it on a 4, so the other Warlock also doesn't get it on a 4. Thought they might actually kill those guys off. Alright, so that'll make it the Eldar shooting phase, which is probably going to be the last phase. but we'll see how it goes. Chaos has impressed me before and done some miraculous saves, so anything is indeed possible. Alright, so the Warlock with the shooting spear actually killed off the Rubric Marine. And then the Wraith Lord and the Wraith Knight killed off the Terminators that were over here. So that means that the Eldar win. That was super awesome. There were psyker powers running all over the place. Probably could have used the Eldar ones a little bit more, but I'm just glad I remembered to use the ones that I did and that I didn't really forget about too many people. I forgot about these Dire Avengers, but that's okay. Yeah, it was awesome. If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. This was certainly a lot of fun to film. So I think the Slanesh forces I think there's 4 psykers in there. And I don't think I've put Thousand Suns up against Slanesh, so maybe that'll be a game in the future. I mean, of course it'll be a game in the future, but all games in the future. So with the Astra Militarum box, that's the only thing I have left to put together. I kind of got a little gumption the other week and finished off assembling everything I had laying around, so everything's just in a big painting pile now. So now I gotta put the guard together. Try and decide. I mean, yeah, Acadia probably, but maybe my own independent kind of thing, who knows. But yeah, start having some guard games. Good times ahead. Thanks for watching. Have an excellent day.